I do want to start, though, with news, but I think is news. A reported secret meeting that you had recently, you and a bunch of other people with Zelensky of Ukraine. Within the last few weeks, it was said to have happened. What happened in that room?
So I don't know that it was so secret, but basically I think Zelensky wanted to meet people from the business community, and there were about 10 of us there. It was organized by JP Morgan, and it was, this is a pretty important person. I think when we look back in time in our history, he's played a very important role in the last couple of years, and it was an opportunity to sort of meet him firsthand. And I think his goal here, I think, was to meet people who could be potential investors in the country, people who could bring business to the country, and I think what he really had to say was, don't wait till after the war. You can really help us by bringing business to our country now.
Also looking for people to help rebuild after the war.
Yeah, I think, look, I'm very bullish on Ukraine post-war, right? I think most Americans wouldn't be able to identify Ukraine on the map circa 2 years ago. And today, I think people know, how many people live there. They know a lot about the population. I think they feel a moral obligation to help. And I think there'll be a very powerful big business case for the rebuilding of the country.
Are you going to commit personally that you'll give money towards the rebuild, either through you personally or the foundation?
So I've invested about $24 million in Ukraine philanthropically during the war.
You already have?
Already have. Some of that was a philanthropic investment in a company called Zipline, which is a really interesting startup. It's well beyond a startup. They apparently raised $400 million at a $4 billion valuation recently. But our philanthropic support was to get them to launch in Ukraine. And basically, it's a drone company that ships medical supplies, principally in Africa, but they places where there isn't good road infrastructure and you need to get blood from one hospital to another, or medical supplies or things like that. And they launched they're in the process of launching in Ukraine because, of course, the infrastructure of the country is not in a great place, and they have lots of need for blood in the right places, unfortunately.
And that was just the start, it sounds, to more investment from you?
It wasn't really. It was not an investment I was looking for an economic return. It was an investment to. I think it was not in their business plan to launch in Ukraine, and so actually got a call from Mike Moritz of Sequoia saying, look, we're actually looking for philanthropic support to bring Zipline to Ukraine. And I think and actually I had the opportunity to meet the head of logistics for the war at this meeting with Zelensky, and I connected him with the CEO of Zipline because, even in a place like Ukraine, there's a bureaucracy that you need to get through in order to, if you think about launching drones around Ukraine right now, you have to have a lot of confidence that those drones are good drones as opposed to bad ones.
It was a good segue to get to the markets because just within the last week, Jamie Dimon said that geopolitics remain the market's biggest risk. Do you agree?
I think I don't know. Maybe in the very short term that's true. But I think, it's sort of the unknown. It's the ultimate sort of black swan type risk, right? What do you worry about? You worry about nuclear war. You worry about, an obligation to defend Taiwan. You worry about, war between the U.S. and we've gone from a period of, a couple decades of, put aside terrorism, which you can't really put aside, but we really haven't had war between major powers, two countries in Europe in, 80 years. And so this is not a bright time in our history. But we had a period of time where I think Berlin Wall came down and we thought about peace.